there is unfortunately no space to keep that spare wheel. You also get wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay available on this device. It does offer a bit more support from the rear. Now you can feel the gear change. Hey guys, this is Jay, welcome to the channel. Today we are driving the all-new GWM Cannon Alpha PHEV, or the Hi4T plug-in hybrid technology. Today we are driving the Lux, which is the standard spec. There is also an ultra spec that's available in the New Zealand market. We're going to have a quick look around outside and I'll show you the interior, plus I'll get you to a POV drive to show you what my driving impression is about on this vehicle. Now let's look at the exterior. First thing, pricing for the New Zealand market, the Lux starts from 69,990 plus ORC, and the Ultra starts at 79,990 plus ORC. If you're looking to purchase one in New Zealand, especially around Auckland, contact Abit Pukoi. They are the authorized dealer for GWM, Tank, Havel, everything that you can purchase. I'll leave their contact details on the top of the screen, also in the description. If you want a good deal around Auckland, do reach out to them. Now, from the exterior, this looks very similar to the standard Cannon Alpha diesel or hybrid. Previously, those two are the drivetrains that's available for the New Zealand market. These will be the king of both. So you get the plug-in hybrid. That means you get 115 kilometers under EV driving on the NEDC cycle. At the same time, you're going to get all the performance that you need. And yeah, this is what the car looks like. From the exterior, it is over 5.4 meters long, just under 2 meters wide, with the wheelbase sits at 3.32 meters. So it is not a small vehicle. It is definitely bigger than the standard GWM Cannon. That means this is a big car compared to any other mid-size ute on the market, like Ford Ranger, Toyota Hilux. It's even just a little bit bigger than the BYD Shark 6 as well. From the exterior, this is the Lux version, so you're getting black wheels, 18-inch on that spec, and black grille, everything is all black out as far as I can see on this vehicle. The front looks really aggressive. You can see the big chunky lights and the chunky grille at the front as well. The bonnet lines are also two lines, which looks quite deep. And then on the side, black windmill covers, black window chrome finish over here, 18-inch alloys. They look a little bit small, to be fair, on my liking, but I guess some people will choose it over 80 tires. You maybe put chunky tires. That means off-road capability on this vehicle is going to be really, really good. Side step is also black with a Canon logo just over there. And yeah, that's what the exterior looks like. On this part, you are getting the petrol tank. On the other part, you are going to get the charging cover. Now, coming to the end, this one Lux gets one-piece rear tailgate. If you're going to the Ultra spec, you're going to get the split tailgate, 60/40, which is, I believe, 4x4 means this is the full drive. Hi4T means this is the plug-in hybrid technology. Again, GWM logo over here. The rear tail light is also very, very chunky. It's striking lines with the round on the top, with lines over here. Overall, the design does look very aggressive, look very smart in some way. And then you also get the Canon logo just over there. Yeah, do you like the exterior design? Please let me know in the comments. The only issue I have is the side profile on this vehicle. This car does offer you really good space at the front. That means from the bonnet lines, from A-pillar to C-pillar, it is really long, creates a really good amount of space for the front and the rear passengers. That means your trunk or your bed at the back is going to be a little bit smaller. And to be fair, it's a similar size to against a medium-sized ute, but not as big as the dimension suggests. Anyway, you get soft opening over here, which is nice. Deck liner is also standard, even on the Lux spec. Spare wheel is going to be set over here. The reason why it sits here, compared to the diesel and hybrid versions, it does have a big battery underneath. With that battery taking so much space, there is unfortunately no space to keep that spare wheel. But I'll be honest with you, if you do drive this car just around the city for this week, you can absolutely take it off, leave it in the garage. You do not need to carry it everywhere because the vehicle will come with a mobility kit. That means you can fix small punctures if anything happens. But if you go out of the countryside, go off-roading, things like that, you can then put this back on. That means you're not going to lose the space, but you don't lose the off-road capability on this vehicle. So that's the solution. It doesn't look great if you're driving on city. It does look a little bit off here and there, but again, that's the way of the hybrid battery works, unfortunately. And then over the side, you are getting a charger point. AC and DC charging is available. AC up to 6 kilowatts, DC up to 65 kilowatts as far as I believe. The vehicle also comes with the vehicle to load function that allows you to charge something devices if you have the cable with you. Now, going to the back seats, fairly easy. You got a side step over here, you got a door handle just on the side. There is a little bit of storage over here to put some of your accessories, which is cool. And then the door opening is really wide. The material on the doors are all right. The top is plastic, but inside over here, it's all leather finish, piano black finish over here. Door handles feels solid. The seat itself is forked leather on the Lux version, but if you go to the Ultra spec, you are going to get the real genuine leather. And the leather finish is really good. Even on the base model, they are soft, squeegee. Along with that, you also get good amount of adjustments. If you go to the Ultra spec, you actually get a very easy access electric adjustment, but even on the base model, you can still slide this to all the way forward. You are losing a little bit leg room over here, but you're creating a very comfy space, laid back position if you want to use that. Anyway, drop this down. You are actually getting 40-20-40 split rear seats, which is really cool for a medium to large size ute, and not many cars do have 40-20-40 split ute configuration, to be fair. Underneath, you're going to get your jack and things, and you also get the tire mobility kit over here. Even if you're driving on the city, you don't have your spare wheel at the back, you can still utilize these tools to sort of prevent a stopping on the road for you. To remember, in New Zealand, you are getting the roadside assistance anyway. So yeah, that's in a safe place. Tether points are over here, that's on the rear outer seats, by the way. So another trick around here is you are actually getting additional storage underneath in the center console. That's very smart. And over here, you're getting a cup holder, which is again really nice. And storage over here, the top spec will get wireless phone charging just on there, but the base model is just a resting pad, let's say. And let's step inside. So again, at the front, that's my sitting position. I'm about 178 centimeters tall. This looks rather short, but do remember the seats can be adjusted. If I go all the way back, I'm getting huge amount of leg room. That's really, really good. It does feel very spacious compared to any other mid-size ute on the market. The foot space is a little bit limited. The height is restricted, but it's okay. I'm okay with that. Pockets over here, 2 air vents over there. Then underneath, you're getting 2 USB chargings, which is really good. And then that's the front. Let's dive into it. Keyless entry and push button start is standard. There we go. Electric seats, it's available. If you go to the high spec, you are going to get the lumbar support over here. You are going to get the heating, cooling, and massage seats at the front, along with the electric seats on the passenger side. But the basic spec, just the manual seats and no heating or cooling. Now the vehicle has already been switched on because it's running on EV, which is relatively simple. Steering, just like all the other Cannon Alpha, and also the Tank 500. Identical steering. You can control the right hand panels or the center panel over here. You can control a few other things for the volume, for your things over here. There's no HUD on the Lux version, but there is HUD available on the Ultra spec. 12.3-inch display at the front that shows your driving information, off-road information if you want to use that. And then in here, we are getting the 14.6-inch display. This is really, really large. You get the drop down to change a quick few things. You get the panels over here to see all your information. It is connected to the internet, so you can see all the things. I don't know why it's showing 2G. Anyway, over here you get climate controls and navigation. You also get wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay available on this device. Put into reverse, you're going to see a very clear 360 view camera. It is much better than many mid-size pickup truck or ute on the market as far as I can see. And then in the center console, you are going to get physical buttons about your climate control, about your mode and things like that. Over here, there is no wireless phone charging, but you do get a USB point that goes underneath to the top. So it's fairly easy to charge your phones and leave it here on the top. Now carry on, we're going to get the gear shift over here, HEV and EV button, as this vehicle does have 3 different power mode or EV mode. EV, pure electric. HEV, it's going to be a hybrid, or it's going to only use EV at low speed or under slower throttle response, and intelligent, it's going to control that by itself. Then you also have driving mode selection. You get sport, normal, eco, and off-road capability under the mode button. Handbrake, auto hold, and safety driving features are over there. 4L is available on the Lux, and then D-Flock is available on the Lux as well, where on the top spec Ultra, you're going to get additional front D-Flock as well. There's no heating or cooling function, so these buttons are not there. But yeah, that's the interior. Quality-wise, it's really, really good. Over here, deep storage over here. Press this, that's your cup holders. It is very deep, so a small cup is going to struggle. Big water bottle will be okay. And then glove box over here, still decent, good size overall. In terms of the interior finish at the front, top leather is better quality than the rear, and everything around the doors, everything on the top is all leather wrapped as well. Piano black trims, and door handles feels solid. Let's close the door. Not bad. And then underneath, around your speed covers, it's all plastic, but even on the top, they are soft material everywhere. So wooden like trims over here, soft material around the pad and things like that. So it is a really good quality cabin for what the price tag suggests compared to some other competitors. Now let's look at the visibility on the side. That's pretty good. Wind mirror cover is huge. At the front, that's okay. And you're going to see the bonnet lines, and it's quite straight, it's quite boxy. On the side, that's pretty good. The rear is really good as well. Even for a ute like this, I can see majority of the things at the back, so no issue at all. Now let's get this on the road to see how this goes. First thing, we should talk about the battery. So this is a plug-in hybrid with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol motor, and then you are going to get the battery pack at the back. The battery pack is 37.11 kilowatt hour. That means under the NEDC cycle, you are going to get around 115 kilometers under full charge. I think WLTP should fall around 90 to 100, so very similar to what the BYD Shark 6 suggests under full charge. In terms of power, the EV motor produces 120 kilowatts of power, 400 Newton meters of torque, where the petrol motor produces 180 kilowatts of power, 380 Newton meters torque. Combined, you are going to see the figure landing at 300 kilowatts of power and then 750 Newton meters of torque. So huge numbers coming from the front, coming from the rear. This does have a very different setup in terms of the four-wheel drive system. This is a TOD four-wheel drive. That means it's kind of the rear four-wheel drive with the D-Flock at the rear as standard on the Lux, and then additional D-Flock at the front for the Ultra spec. I'm not going to test the four-wheel drive today, but these are just the specs available for the numbers and for the information. Now, in terms of driving, this car feels relatively comfortable even at the low speed. All right, we've shifted the vehicle to EV, so we can feel the EV driving over here. In terms of the suspension, the vehicle does have a double wishbone coil suspension at the front, and then the multi-link leaf spring axle at the back. So it does feel a little bit different from the Cannon Alpha diesel as well. It does offer a bit more support from the rear, but at the same time, it does have a limited payload compared to any other ute on the market. The payload is rated to be 685 kilograms, which is actually quite low even compared to the BYD Shark. But in terms of towing capacity, this reaches 3.5 ton towing. That is industry standard for any mid-size or large-size ute on the market. That's a good thing compared to the BYD Shark. Anyway, driving on the speed, driving on motorway, getting on the speed is fairly easy. Even on pure EV only, in terms of driving, it feels very, very smooth. The vehicle is powered by a 9-speed hybrid transmission. This transmission is very different from your traditional 9-speed automatic gearbox on a diesel, on a petrol motor. You don't really feel too much of a gear change unless you put your foot down, especially when you change from hybrid to EV to engine or anything like that. So under standard EV driving, it's just 1 speed, very, very smooth all the way. Now Now we're going to go around the corner. I'll go get the vehicle to the smart driving, and we are going to shift to sport mode so we can get a little bit more throttle response just to see how the vehicle drives on a country road. Now let's do 1, 2, 3. Bit hesitation, but then the speed picks up really easily. It feels like the car has got a lot of punch behind, and handles actually pretty good. It's pretty solid, planted on the ground. You can feel the weight on this vehicle. Obviously it doesn't not weigh lightly on the road at all. Another figure I forgot to mention is about the fuel consumption. If the battery runs out or runs close to empty, obviously the petrol motor will charge, will kick in, and then in that instance you are likely to get somewhere around 6.9 liters according to the spec sheet for the petrol consumption. Do remember that's only just the really recommendations. If you toast anything, if you have load, it could go up. It's not something we are able to test today, but I guess I can report on a later stage if I have a chance to drive this car for a longer drive. Now driving under right now HEV under the sport. Yeah, when we change to sport, I actually default to HEV, so the petrol motor is ready to engage. The vehicle feels really easy to drive. All right, small acceleration over here. 1, 2, 3. There is some sort of like hesitation when you put your foot down, but once the petrol motor and also the EV motor engages, it does go up on the speed fairly easily. The acceleration may not feel as thrilling as the BYD Shark 6, because I think a lot of BYD Shark 6 driving is powered from the EV motors, where this one, when you accelerate under HEV mode, you are going to feel a lot of acceleration generated from the petrol motor. So these two cars are running really different systems compared to each other in terms of the driving and things. That's the big difference between the Shark 6 and the Cannon Alpha PHEV. Now compared to the standard diesel and also the 2-liter hybrid, which is non-plug-in models, the Cannon Alpha Hi4T's throttle response is a lot better. You can feel the throttle is ready to engage whenever you put your foot down, which is actually quite nice when you drive around this country road. It's easy to take up to the speed. In terms of noise, the tire does make a little bit of noise. There's a little bit of wind noise as the car is so boxy on the shape, but it's not terrible. The handle's actually quite good. It doesn't feel very direct. Occasionally at the small turns, it may not respond very sharply, but at the same time, when you go around these corners, it's very relaxing and cruisy to go around here. And brakes feels good. There is regenerative braking, of course, coming from the PHEV powertrain. So again, we're driving on HEV. Let's shift it back to EV so we can drive on pure electric and see how it goes. And driving on pure electric, you don't get engine noise, and it's just really smooth. Now, on these country roads, this car actually performs really, really well compared to what I thought. It's very good on the road. The suspension works really, really well. Somehow this multi-link rear suspension does feel a little bit more pleasant on the road compared to the standard, just the leaf spring, I think, that's available on the standard Cannon Alpha diesel. Yeah, it just doesn't give you too much of a wobble. It doesn't shake all of the places. And even with no weight at the back, apart from the spare wheel, the car feels very, very solid on the road. And additionally, something I want to add, that facial detection monitoring system is being on for this whole driving, and the lane departure warning, lane departure assist is also on for this whole journey. I'm doing this review. Both has not been making any noise or sound as far as I can see, so that software has definitely been improved, which I think on a standard version of the Cannon Alpha will also be improved over the update in the future. Now over here, maybe it's time to do another acceleration. We are just going to drive on EV just to see how the EV acceleration is like. 1, 2, 3. And the petrol motor actually kicks in, so it does not just engage pure EV at all if you put your foot down, which is actually good, I guess. It just goes on petrol motor. It was under normal mode, by the way, which we should change to sport mode. Just give it another go. So over here, let's slow it down. There's no one behind me. Let's do it from 20 onwards. Right? 1, 2, 3. Now you can feel the gear change. That's where the 9-speed kicks in. When you put your foot down very heavily, you are going to feel that on the acceleration. Feels good. It feels like there's a lot of punch from the petrol motor rather than focusing on the pure EV powertrain, which is actually quite different driving or acceleration feel compared to the BYD Shark 6. And let's do one more here from 30 onwards. 1, 2, 3. All right. It's alright. The 2-liter engine definitely sounds a bit more gruntier compared to the 1.5 turbo from the BYD Shark 6, but they do make some noises, of course. Yeah, under the driving, this does feel more close to a conventional petrol vehicle compared to the BYD Shark 6. It's definitely a different system, different setup, as you can see. But at the same time, the Cannon Alpha PHEV feels a lot better driving than the diesel or the HEV in some way. This feels a bit more gruntier. Along with that, the transmission feels just a bit more responsive. The pedal is a lot easier to control. At the same time, it's got plenty of power and really good liking for the driving, and the suspension setup on this is definitely tuned really well for the New Zealand roads. That's pretty much all I want to talk about for the driving part and for the POV review on this Cannon Alpha Hi4T PHEV. If you found my video helpful, the best way to support the channel is to subscribe and like, and I will see you next video. Thank you very much.